Well, here we are with our Juniper squamata. We've already talked about why this is a particularly good piece of material. This is an example of where we had in mind the type of tree we wanted to create. So we then went and looked for material that would be suitable to create the tree that we had in mind. The other way, of course, is to start with the material first. But in this case, because we wanted to do a young Joe school tree, we deliberately picked material that suits that type of tree, type of school. So here we are. Probably the next step now that we've brought the tree home, we've had a look at it, is to knock it out of the pot. And that's relatively easily achieved even for a fairly large tree like this. It's about simply gripping the base of the tree and gently levering the root mass out from the pot. This is simply going to allow us to have a closer look at the tree now that it's not constrained in the pot, and we can also have a look down at the base of the tree because I really want to see how the trunk leaves the soil. Is it leaving in an upright position? Is it leaving at an angle? So we're having a closer look, and that's why taking the juniper out of the pot like this makes that a lot easier. Now what I'm going to do at this stage is to use a root hook just to start gently teasing away the soil from around the base of the trunk line. So I'm just going to do this very gently, and as you can see the soil comes away quite readily. I'm just going to take some time working round and round the tree, again primarily interested in where the base of the trunk connects with the soil. And already I can see that this trunk line leaves the soil at an angle. Looking at it from my side, it leaves at a nice sharp angle, which is fantastic because the rest of the tree will make sense. If a tree tends to leave the soil in a very upright position, it often makes no sense then for the tree to suddenly start having lots and lots of curves. So the fact that this tree is already leaving the soil at a nice angle means that movement and angles will look natural on this tree. So whoever potted this tree up applied some thought to what they were doing and potted the tree up at an angle. I can see here where the bamboo stake is broken. We know that the bamboo stake lasted about 2 years. So it lasted more than long enough to do its job. I can pull out the broken stake, and while I'm at it, I'll take it out of the rest of the tree because it's not doing, and I can see at the top of the tree here that the stake's been secured with a plastic tie, so I can cut that, and that allows me to work the stake loose and remove it from the tree, and there's the plastic tie that was holding it in place. So again, I'm just cleaning around the root ball, and just using the fingers as well. If you haven't got a root hook, a chopstick, a blunt screwdriver, anything will do the job for you. But don't lose sight of fingers. Fingers are fantastic tools, and they'll do the job just as well. I will let you have a close-in look at this tree shortly, but at this stage the other thing I can also do is start removing some of these lower down branches. because I know for a fact that the branches right down here at the base of the trunk, basically at ground level, aren't going to be any use to me. So I can start removing those. The cardinal rule at this stage is if you're not sure about removing it, leave it, because you can always remove it later when you've made up your mind, but it's extremely difficult to put it back on if you've cut it off and then later realise you should have left it. So at this stage I'm looking at the very, very base of the trunk. Lots of dead branches in here where they've died because they haven't been receiving sunlight. So I'm just cleaning the tree up at the very bottom of the trunk. And I'll show you what it looks like in a few moments.